What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another Neon Gaming Dimension video. Tonight, we are going to be reacting to the announcement of the Nintendo Switch 2. That's right. My name is Gage Luke, aka Luke Shot First, coming at you on this lovely Thursday evening. This is with Jacob, aka OM Jesus.
Nintendo. That was my
You know
best
it.
Mario impression. Woo! Woohoo! Yahoo! You were
Wahoo! Pizza tonight.
you sounded more banjo.
Oh yeah, I to be fair, I'm more of a banjo guy, so there you go.
Yeah,
But
banjo
yes, we have had
bias.
some news. We have had some news today, so we are going to break down the Nintendo Switch announcement trailer in a rewind theater style for you, as well as just talk a little bit about what we found out today in general, and do some speculizing, as I like to say. So yeah, if you didn't see the trailer, we'll watch it first one time. We can just run it through real quick. I think it's about 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
And then we'll pick out some details that we've been discussing for you.
All right.
Yeah, you want to do that first, and then we can talk about hype levels and all that shit.
Yeah, and well, I mean, we want to break this down frame by frame. So yeah, 100%. We'll do exactly what you said, and then
Hell yeah,
we'll see what's going on.
exactly. It was weird that this trailer starts out kind of quiet, you know?
Mm-hmm. The whole thing's quiet.
Yeah. Whoa.
Well, what's with the quality?
Right?
It's like, why is it 480? Boop, 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 boop.
All right. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger Joy-Cons.
I forgot you can't even hear it.
Don't worry about it.
Because it is like, it does have a lot of weird sound effects. You know what I mean?
It does, for
It's
sure.
like,
We get some buttons. We get some swirling. They're like, don't worry about stick drift. We got you.
see, this part is just the part people are tripping over right here.
What's funny is that the Joy-Cons right there are drifting. So they're
They
Joy-Con
are.
drifting.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
I get your little joke, okay?
Looks pretty sexy right there, though. Gotta give it to him.
There's definitely way more claps in there.
Oh yeah, it's much more of it. Yeah.
It's layered. Yeah, see, that's like 60 frames, dude. That
It
looks
is,
clean.
Yeah. You just
I
showed
feel
us
like-
a little taste. Just a little taste.
Yeah. A lot to go over here in that 2 minutes, 22 seconds.
2025.
There's this bit.
2 games.
We'll talk about that too.
Yeah, they drop a lot of info right here at the end.
They sure do. 4/2/25. Yeah, like where? LA,
Tokyo,
New York.
Dallas, New York.
Yeah. Crazy.
I was bummed there wasn't a Seattle one because there is a Nintendo office in Seattle, and I was like, oh, I could get up to Seattle to do that. I don't really feel like I can fly to LA to do that, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it would be fun, or I could just wait for it to come out, which I
Exactly.
will. I definitely.
I'm gonna
will.
register for the LA one just to see what happens. But
Okay.
anyways, yeah.
All right, I gotta talk to Joy about that. And be like,
Yeah. I mean,
would we be down to go down to LA just to play a fucking Switch 2 one day? I don't know.
It would be pretty silly.
It'd
I
be
mean, you'd have to
wild.
like turn it into a trip of some
Yeah,
sort,
I mean, we could go somewhere. I don't know. I mean, there's restaurants and stuff. We like to eat.
Hell yeah. Well, that was the Switch 2 announcement trailer. Kind of like bare bones in a way. They're just showing you the thing. Like the thing about this version of the reveal is they didn't have to like convince you about what a Switch is and like the whole taking it with you thing. Like we all know what the Switch does. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like this was literally just like, let's just take a look at it and just tell you that it's real, so that like third parties can start talking about it. They can start talking about it. They can start being like, this game
Mm-hmm.
will come across cross generation, that kind of stuff. That sort of thing. Like, um,
Mm-hmm.
it just feels like they just needed to break the ice because there's just been too much garbage out there leaking and everything.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but what'd
I
you think?
mean, I'm stoked for it. I want it. Everyone's like, show me the games. I mean, they showed one game. It was Mario Kart. So you're gonna get a new one of those. But since I feel like the old Switch is underpowered, like there's just so many games I haven't bought or played, and just the prospect of like a new Switch to play the old games, but like have them run better.
Yep.
You already have a massive library basically to draw from, and that already is a selling point for me because I mean, Switch is great. It served its purpose. Had a good time with it. It's time
Hmm.
for a new device. One that's a lot better. Let's at least Steam Deck
That's not like a 2011
style. Yeah,
Android tablet. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So stoked, like real stoked for this. April will come by as way quicker than you think. But for now, we can all speculate. I'm sure there will be even more leaks or something. Who knows? But let's get into the Switch itself. Let's check it out. What's
Let's
going
check it
on with
out.
this Switch 2? First things first, what we'll notice here, it's bigger.
It's a lot bigger.
It's a bigger
Says
one.
like 8-inch screen, which is like rivaling the bigger Steam Deck, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, so
Um,
I read some article that was saying like there was one of the leaks said 8-inch screen where the Switch one is like I think 6.2, 6.5 or something like that.
yeah,
So that looks like, correct. That's probably a correct leak. So you can expect probably 8 inches. There's like a big bezel on there like before still,
I
which
know.
annoys
Classic.
everyone, I guess, but I don't really care. I don't really notice it personally.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, I would rather it was just coming right up to the edge there, but that would be epic. But no, it's all right. Just the
Yeah.
way it goes.
Then
They shaved off a little form factor, you know.
that's right. Yeah, it's more rounded. That's kind of
Yeah.
nice. So here we have the bottom. That's a USB-C, just clearly.
Yep.
I mean, so it'll be like pretty much the same technology, charging. Um, it'll that's where the switch dock goes. That's where we were plugging in like HDMI adapters and stuff before. So
All that.
very similar to the Switch One in that regard. It's just USB-C. But what really interests me, first of all, this part right here, same buttons. They look almost
Yep.
identical.
Totally.
No change there. But over here, we still have our ear, or what is
Headphone
it,
jack, which
eighth
is
inch
nice.
yeah, headphone jack.
Auxiliary. Yeah.
That's right. So like I'm sure that it'll still have Bluetooth just like the Switch already does. But having the option to plug something in directly still is actually pretty sweet. You don't really
Especially
have
for a
that very
handheld
often.
device. I really like but like
Yeah.
if you're playing for a long time, you're not worried about like losing all your Bluetooth headphone charge in like a session on a plane or something. It's like nice to just be able to plug something in or plug in nicer like over your headphones or whatever you want to be doing.
Yeah, yeah. It's just nice to have the option, and so many companies aren't doing this, like phone companies, the ones that
Hmm.
like you really need a headphone for. So
The other nice,
this is pretty
yeah,
nice.
the other nice thing too is like if you do have like USB-C headphones, they have having this USB-C on top. Hopefully, you can be doing that while also charging the device down below. That'd
Yeah.
be pretty cool.
Yeah, so this is speaking of this port right here. It triggers so much in my brain as to
Totally.
like why it exists. Like there isn't one at the top of the current Switch, just at the bottom. Um the I think the headphone jack was on the top as well on the Switch one, but I'm just saying like this extra USB-C like okay, what can you do with the USB-C? You could charge it,
Hmm.
possibly. It could be again another visual out, so
Yep.
it could make it easier to like share that feed to something else, maybe to help with streaming or something. It
Yep.
could be a connector for new devices and attachments and crazy Nintendo concept things that you needed that extra plug-in for. Maybe even something that plugs in and sits at the top of the Switch
Totally.
2.
Yeah, maybe some extra, like, I don't know, power
Nintendo.
or a second screen or Nintendo weirdness, whatever that's
Yeah, it
going to
could
be.
be like a weird ass toy thing.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It could be like
Just other attachments.
another screen or something. I don't know, dude. Like,
Yeah, for 3DS games or something, like you have an extra screen to plug in or something like that.
yeah,
I also just think like, people have always wanted, in tabletop mode where they're playing with like their controller and the thing is sat down like on a plane or whatever.
yeah,
You can't charge it while it's in that mode, you know what I mean? So to have a charger be able to come out the top, um, or like I have this really cool, like it's essentially works functions as a dock for the Nintendo Switch, but it's just an HDMI to USB-C
yeah.
cord that goes through like this little box and that then plugs into the back of the TV. And it just makes traveling with it a lot easier. You don't have to lug the dock around. It's just a cord. So
Yep.
now having that like come out the top is kind of nice because you could even just use your whole Nintendo Switch as a controller and just have it plugged in into the TV. Either way, whatever you want to do.
Exactly what you're fucking saying is like this. Those are the things I've been thinking. Like this top USB-C is so huge. Everyone's glossing over it, but I'm like, no, no. You know,
Big part.
everyone's talking about how like the Switch 2 doesn't seem like enough of an innovative device or something, which I understand that, but like it's got another plug on the top of it. They have room to like add weird, crazy, innovative stuff to it, and just
Totally.
having the extra options, like you're saying, is super awesome. So that to me is super super hype.
Super hype indeed. Hell yeah. We've got a new and improved kickstand. It's kind of similar to the one from the OLED version, but it doesn't have. It's like it's not the whole back that comes out. It's just that like little bit. Hopefully, it's sturdy enough.
Yeah, well, like what interests me in this presentation is here we are. It's just pulled out enough, almost as much as the normal kickstand for the Switch is right now, but
Yep.
it keeps going and like it's on this hinge. There's a little like dot in here that you can see if you
Yeah.
zoom
Yeah.
in, and it looks like it has a full range of angle motion there, and it even
Yep.
kind of comes out right here. So from at least what it looks like to me, I bet you there's different like spots you can set it to at other angles, or maybe it like tightens or
Settings.
something,
Yeah.
and you
Totally.
could just like angle it exactly how you want, which to me would be the greatest fucking kickstand, because that was always my complaint with the Switch,
Yeah.
is
Like I
that
have
it's
one angle. Yeah.
yeah, and it's not even a good angle. It's super upright.
Upright. Yeah. Totally. So it has to be like kind of far away from you. Yeah. No, it's true. It's almost like it's acting as its own. Like those iPad cases where there's like multiple kind of rows
Like
that it can set
notches.
into. Yeah, so
Yeah,
this is like I would imagine that maybe there's a sort of click system inside that whatever that piece is in there that lets you put it to a different setting.
yeah,
And
or
then
maybe
I also wonder if the full laydown format has to do with like potentially like second screening, like us using the mouse even. I'm just like
yeah.
wondering if there's something to that.
Well, that's what people are saying. So like, and we'll get to the mouse thing in just a sec, but
Yeah, yeah,
um, essentially, if let's say you pulled your Joy Cons off and you wanted one to be like a thumbstick and the other one to be a mouse, and you were playing your Switch, you'd probably be at a table like I am, or a
yep,
desk, right?
exactly. Yeah,
And so
me, yeah,
then it can just be set right in front of you and you're just looking down at it, and then now you're
yeah.
using your mouse. So that's why you probably would want a an angle this low.
This steep. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's super steep. It's like limbo stuff right there.
Yeah. And
um
then we have the Joy-Con treatment, so they're bigger.
oh,
Buttons get bigger with them.
there you go. Hell yeah, they're fucking bigger. Look at how much bigger it is. I love
Yeah,
that. Love that. We have this
me too.
rogue button that everyone's calling the C button. I mean, just to go over the buttons on here, you have your standard buttons here. These buttons sometimes are used normally to like for,
Yeah.
extra like whatever, like D-pad or whatever. You got this. This is your like either video or picture, right? Screenshot
Yeah.
button.
Capture button. Yeah.
The home button, which you can also press and hold to turn it on. I'm assuming all these buttons would essentially work about the same.
Yeah.
But this extra button is being called the C button. I've heard chatter of it being called the chat button, where it's going to bring up like
Hmm.
a social hub or like a way to do voice chat. It's all going to be built into the new Switch apparently.
Miiverse 2.0. We'll see.
That would be amazing.
That would
Other
be amazing.
people are saying that it's just something else, like it's some rogue button. It'll bring up some kind of menu. I don't know. I really don't, no one knows what the fuck that button is, dude.
Totally.
That's what I'm
I've
realizing. No one
I've
knows.
speculized that it could be a when it was a C, especially this didn't have any markings of an actual C on it, but
Yeah.
um when it did have a, like the some of the mock-ups that we saw from leaks said it had a C on it. So I thought about cast, where like maybe
Oh
there's a
yeah.
way that you can cast your Switch, kind of like a remote play for PlayStation, or I forget what it's called for Xbox, but the same sort of thing, where you could just cast it to your TV. Like if you have a smart
Mm-hmm.
TV that you can like AirPlay like from a phone, that sort of thing, where maybe you're not getting the benefit of the dock processing power, but you're able to just cast it to a TV from anywhere. That'd be cool, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's also a really interesting concept and idea. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Nintendo having like some really cool feature like that.
Who knows?
So who knows, dude? Okay, so getting into the actual thumbstick itself. I mean, obviously the controller
Exactly.
is bigger, but if we go back a little bit, I was kind of looking at this. I don't know if it really matters or if I'm just reading too much into it, but it looked like this becomes a little more convex.
Totally.
Um, it could just already be convex because like the controller already grew in like the 3D morphing process, right? But just compared to the normal Switch, this is looking more like domed essentially. And then with this like melted plastic, it looks more sturdy and it looks like
100%.
it's housing something, you know what I mean? And where it's coming out of, I don't know. It just looks bigger and different. So I can see it being a Hall effect joystick to like contain all those magnets and what like whatever it is. Like
Hmm.
I don't think you need like a lot of space to work with it, but I think the fact that they are bigger and the plastic just looks like it's got more shit inside of it, I'd feel like there's
Yep.
a good chance it's Hall effect joysticks.
It feels like they would probably emphasize that type of thing because the Joy-Con drift was such a thing. You know what I mean? They're like,
Yeah.
nope, nip that in the bud. Let's just do it in our thing right now. Make sure it's sturdy.
I would hope, but I also wouldn't put it past Nintendo to be like, just do it again. We'll just build it
Yeah.
better. So who
Yeah.
knows? All I know is that that's sleek.
It is. I love the color treatment. It's great.
Yeah. Okay, and then we have this popping out, right?
Yeah. So you have the versions of SL and SR, which become buttons when it's not, when you're turning your Joy-Con sideways the way that we do.
Yeah,
And then you've got the little sensor button to like turn it on in there, and then
this one.
you see this like, yeah, and then you see the like the hole for the chip that comes out of the Switch this time, which is a lot different.
Yeah, and then
Um,
there's this thing which looks like kind of like an IR sensor, which
it
now that I
probably
think about
is.
it, dude, what if that's a fucking mouse laser?
That's what I mean. Yeah, totally,
That might be a mouse
100%.
laser, dude.
It totally
Oh
could
my
be.
god, I'm tripping about this mouse thing.
It's so
Let's
weird how
let's keep
that's
it
a
going.
thing, but there you go. It makes sense.
Okay, in just a sec. Okay, same thing on this side too. I think
Yeah,
we
yeah,
get a
it's the same.
better shot of this a little bit. Hold on, yeah, like right here. Let me get a couple. Okay,
That looks pretty darn mouse
is that
lasery.
a mouse laser? First of
It looks
all,
like.
do you see how there's two?
Yeah, it's
Right.
interesting.
So is it a double mouse laser? Like, what does a mouse laser look like?
That looks like mine looks
I'm gonna
mine
look
looks
at mine,
pretty mine looks pretty darn close to that. In fact, there is two almost just like that if you shine a light at it.
folks. I think
It,
that we've just confirmed that that is indeed a mouse. Yeah, dude. Dude,
it
it looks a
looks the
lot like
same.
it.
Yeah, it really does. That's interesting. Well, so that perfectly makes sense then when you see him mousing around, you're like, okay, here we go.
So yeah, definitely mouse laser.
I love
Looking
that.
great. And then it's gonna zoom in on. Oh, by the way, the buttons are looking
Look real
real,
nice.
real soft.
Love that.
You know what I mean? It's gonna just, you know what I mean? It's gonna be a good time.
Yep.
And then this part. Okay. So like question to the chat. It's gonna spin around the joystick.
Right.
With the
Uh-huh.
current Switch controller, when you do that, is there like a little ball underneath in the same way as we see it here? See how there's like a little
Mm,
ball?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is it the same for this current Switch? Does that look different? Does that look more Hall
Yeah,
effect?
I don't really think so on the current Switch. I feel like it's got more just like it's spinning around on a surface like underneath it because this one does feel look a lot more ball-y.
Let's go back. Let's go back. Run it back. Run back the tapes. All right, here we go. I mean, that looks different to me. All right.
Yeah, they're emphasizing that for sure, you know.
Okay. It's been
Yeah,
confirmed they shared an image more bally, smooth as a baby's bottom. Now that mouse will drift, baby. Great,
uh,
great, great chat comments.
there you go.
Okay, yeah, so I'm feeling pretty confident that this thing has a mouse mode. I
Right,
mean,
look at them mousing around.
it's been in the leaks, obviously, so it's confirmed, but I'm just saying, like, we're over here just looking at frames, okay? We're having a good time.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I just wanted to look at this really quick, though. I just find it
Yeah, that is
interesting
interesting.
that the dock, like, because this is the only view of these, like, little dock mouse, whatever, hand.
The
What are they
Joy-Con
called?
clips, yeah.
Cli-
Yeah.
uh, hmm.
I mean they
Housing. It's the
yeah,
housing.
housing, yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean those things, we had them for the original Switch and they were annoying as hell and I always lost them and whatever. Yeah.
9 times out of 10, you put it on backwards, so then it's
Uh-huh.
like
And then
doing
it's
it's
hard to
doing
get it
this
off.
thing, and you gotta like, yeah, fucking pull it.
And you're kind of nervous about it. Yeah, it's rough.
Slipping those things on suck. But look at this. This is just like a hole. You just shove them in the hole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It looks like probably both sides could fit both, but I'm sure I mean, it's all color coded. So I mean, unless you're colorblind, you might be kind of screwed there. But like, which one is
One
it?
thing that it one thing that's interesting and we'll talk about this in a second when we can see the whole form factor. But it's interesting that there is color on the actual Switch module. So if you're getting multiple color Joy-Cons, I feel like it might end up being kind of weird. Here you go. So when
Yeah.
it snaps in,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see. Well, yeah.
Right here. Okay, first things first. Let's talk about this fucking thing coming out of the Switch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, as a father, how worried are you?
Exactly. It looks like the place, like it looks like the pain point for sure. And I saw a couple other people talking about this on the internet today. Obviously, like with the magnet traction, if it is magnetic that's clicking in, it should be a pretty like sturdy and easy thing. It's like plastic on plastic, so it shouldn't be too hectic. But it's
Mhm.
more like if you drop the switch without the Joy Cons on it, I could see that thing being the thing that gets messed up.
Yeah.
Or even like I don't know if there is any sort of tension with the way that the Joy Cons click on and off. Like if you like, I don't know, if you forget to take the magnet off or like release the magnet thing or something, can you like, I don't know, can
I
you
don't think
manhandle
so.
that?
I think it's gonna
Yeah,
lock in place. Although when you look at it, it's just smooth plastic. But let's let it finish like
fill it in. Yeah,
morphing.
I'm pretty sure it is just fully magnets. That's cool.
Yeah. See. So take a look here. It's completely smooth, and there's just a chip.
Yep.
Okay. And earlier we saw what's like inside. I think you could see it better here. Actually. Ooh. See, it's just
Yeah,
like
it's
a
just another.
connector node thing, so it just slips in there, and that's all that's happening here, which to me is pretty crazy, right?
Yeah,
And it
it's
just
crazy.
snaps right on. So like obviously we're using magnets, right?
Yep.
That's the confirmation. But
And I saw a video of this type of magnet technology going on, and apparently it's like impossible to pull it off once it's in magnetized mode.
there
And
you
then
go.
there's just a switch in the back that turns the magnet off or whatever. They're electromagnets, so I don't know. It's a whole thing.
Magnets, how do they work?
I mean, I can tell you, and then I
isn't
can
that
not fully
isn't that the
understand.
Ali G? Isn't that like an Ali G quote?
It is knowledge.
Okay, just quickly talking about like just how does this thing look right here?
Fucking rad.
It looks hot. It's sleek. It's curved. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
all one color. It's got a sheen, but then we have the little color accents on the buttons. To me, it just feels more grown up. It feels more of a premium item.
It does 100%. And
Yeah.
I think it's like, it's the Switch too. It's growing up with its audience, right? So even if kids bought a Switch in 2017, right? And
Yeah.
let's say they were 7 then or something, like, now they're whatever, 15, 16, you know what I mean? Like something like that, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's
38. Yeah.
well, yeah. But this just feels like, even a 15-year-old would probably have something that looks like this than necessarily the Switch, because there is that like
Yeah.
median age where you're like, oh, I can't look like a dork, you know what I mean? Because I like girls now or whatever.
Oh, so this is like the teenage angst.
Teenage angst Switch
This is
plus
like
like
the hot topic Nintendo device, is what you're saying.
that, but then also like I'm a 36-year-old businessman who also likes to play video games on planes, so whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
I like how you can barely see a little accent color of the inside of the Joy-Con when it snaps on there.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of that with other colored Joy-Cons, and like how they can play with that little accent there. That'll be fun.
Oh yeah, dude. Give me a purple one. You know me.
Give me an LED one,
Oh yeah, dude.
that shines a little out from
Fucking
there. Like it looks like
RGB, baby. Oh, oh, it's not working. I'm hitting space. It's not working.
it
Yeah.
even looks like on the back you can see a little bit of that, which is kind of cool.
So earlier, I kind of stopped on these little freeze frames because they come at you really quick with the music. But if you look at this, I just want to show you guys. You see this little like almost like rectangular
Yeah.
cutout. So like I feel like that has to do with the way it locks. Like maybe as you pull it out, you can like have it lock into a place and then you kind of pull it
A
up.
little tick, 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 tick,
You know what I
tick,
mean?
tick, tick, tick.
So then you can
Totally.
dictate the angle and you just lock it in place. That's kind of what I
Oh,
was
you
thinking.
mean like a little flicker thing that it's
Well,
like,
I'm
okay, you
thinking
get it to where
like
you want it to be.
it might be on like just a little bit of a pull out, right? So then you kind of like pull it back
Yeah.
up for it to come back together. And if you want it to like lock into place, you like pull it down.
Yeah, I kind of see what
Something
you're
like
saying.
that.
Exactly. Yeah, a little slipper
Yeah.
like that. Like, yeah, cool.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It could, that's what I want it to be, but like I found it interesting that in the other mock-up images or the part of the video earlier, you don't see this like slit that's coming out of it. You know,
That's interesting. But I do like what you're saying there. Yeah.
I like it too.
These
Look
look
at
real
these
nice
buttons,
right here.
dude. I feel like I could like sleep on one of these buttons if I was like a
Yeah, they look
mite.
really. Look, yeah. If I was a mite. Yep, 100%.
Like just really pillowy. Okay, this part is interesting. If you look closely, what does M do? Oh, that's like a volume. Hold on. As this comes in closer, actually it's not that shot. Oh, real quick. Have to shout this out. We did look at these buttons or these like inscriptions
Markings.
as best we could. What was the only one we figured out besides
This one is it is called NDM. You can kind of see it right below the Nintendo loader there.
Yeah, it's on both sides.
That's an N2 dialer module, which is apparently like it monitors change states between like remote controls of certain things. So it's either like when something connects to hardware or when something connects to like a modem. So I'm thinking it has to do with like either the Joy-Con's connectivity to the device, or the whole device's connectivity to like internet or something like that.
Yeah. My gut says it has to do with the
Sure.
Joy-Con technology,
Joy-Con,
but
yeah.
who knows? I mean, we all want better fucking internet situation, faster Wi-Fi, a direct like plug-in Ethernet.
I was reading about it today and it was some real nerdy shit, so I was like trying to wrap my head around it. It's like some electrical engineering type of stuff.
Yeah,
sure, so
that's
it's like
really
a patent.
okay. Yeah, that's really interesting stuff. I just thought like, oh, we can actually see these things. So what can we figure out? No, that's all we figured out. But
yeah, the rest of it was like plastic, like when you have to have a certain grade of plastic on it, so if something's recyclable or things like that. And then there was like an FCC thing, which is like pretty typical for anything that plays media to have on it, So
nice. And then of course this is just Nintendo.
Yeah.
Right here. But no, okay.
There's probably a serial number in there or something like that too. So.
Yeah. There is these two buttons, which I think instead of now slipping the Joy-Cons off, you have to press and hold it to deactivate the magnet. And that's how they come off, which I think will be more convenient because you just press the button and pull it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, the other one, it was always kind of a little weird. It was like this little tiny button on the back of it, and you had to like kind of pinch and pull up at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like
Um,
this.
just a quick view at the triggers. They look pretty similar, but I'm sure they'll click real good.
Yeah, I wonder what the haptic on that will feel like.
Hmm.
But yeah, cool.
If anything. It's during this view that I got an interesting look. Like if you look at this like groove
Hmm.
here, you can actually see the part of the Switch or the Joy-Con that's magnetically connected to the Switch 2. And if we go a little further, there's actually a little bit of
Yeah.
a gap there.
Wow. Yeah, totally.
So the magnets are powerful, but you'll still see the little gap, and you know what I mean. I don't know. I just think that's kind of an
Like,
interesting effect.
it kind of seems like an aesthetic choice so that you see the color of whatever that
Yeah,
inner thing is, which is cool. But
yeah,
like I said, it's a little interesting if like I don't know, you change the color of your Joy Cons or something. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah,
yeah. It will be interesting. Um, I mean, I guess just the part that's inside the Switch is colored,
yeah,
so you would still technically see the
whatever the
color
Joy
in the
Con.
or in the groove here, and even over here, if you look, you can actually see the blue.
Totally.
And then so you'll see the color here, and then under the joystick for like whatever colors they come up with later. But I'm sure they'll have like, other colors. Like I'm sure that you'll have Joy Cons that are not just black as well
Yeah,
in the
they've
future.
done a pretty good job of doing more interesting color treatments for the current Switch. So
Yeah, and then of course we have a new Mario Kart that's in development. Someone online said, of course, Nintendo would show off some flat level with no detail, and I was like, "Damn, dude, that's that's rude. That's a rude comment."
I
This is
think
Mario Kart. I don't know. Don't you guys think the cafe looks good or what? What is it?
it's a burger joint. That looks
Yeah,
awesome,
where was it?
honestly. It's like it's
Is
a
it
different
earlier?
angle after. No, it's later than this when it like
Oh,
comes
here we
back.
go.
There it is.
Yeah, look,
Um,
Yoshi's Cookie Cafe, yo. Come on,
yeah, and like the whole thing is like shaped like a Yoshi and like a burger. It's pretty funny.
give it to me.
Um,
Oh, let's talk about the dock.
I think they were just trying not to show like if there's a specific gimmick about like gameplay with this Mario thing where like Mario Kart 8 had the hover crafting thing.
Mhm.
Mario Kart 7 had the gliding, like like so there was I think they're just particularly not showing you too many mechanics. So they're like, let's just show a flat portion of this race track so it's just cars on the ground. You know what I mean? So you can't
Yeah.
speculate about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no,
But yeah.
totally. I mean, that's what I think too. They're specifically not showing games, but you got a game. At least you know a new fucking Mario Kart is coming,
Yeah. Like
and
we could all probably guess.
it's definitely different. If you look
Oh
at
yeah.
Donkey Kong, his design's different. Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, he looks more like the original 80s arcade cabinet version, or like also some have said like the most recent, like the Mario movie version. So
Yeah,
Miyamoto was apparently working on that version for the movie because they wanted to kind of take back from Rare's kind of interpretation, um,
yeah,
which makes sense. He's no longer a Rare character, so
it's true. But yeah, looking good to me. Then we have the dock. It is different. I was looking at a picture and I was like, oh yeah, it's rounded. I didn't
yeah, it's
realize
rounded
that.
on the top, like a little bit more sleek, matte kind of thing that goes all the way down like that.
Mhm.
I will say one thing is that I just don't really love the Switch 2 logo. It's just kind of like, here's a Switch 2, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like,
Not
I mean,
creative.
the Joy-Con logo is like pretty like classic, but I just feel like maybe they could have just updated that a little bit or done something. I don't know. It's
It's
like
because you
it's
wanted Super Switch.
well, I definitely wanted Super Switch, but I knew they weren't going to do it. I knew they weren't going to do it, but you know,
Yeah.
it would
Uh,
would have been sick to have the SNS, you know what I mean? But
no,
well.
you're right. You're right, and that would be sick. Here's that goofy looking Donkey Kong in the back.
He does look goofier in
It's
my
kind of
opinion,
goofy,
but
yeah.
it's fun.
I still
I
love
kind of
him.
like that 'cause I like beating up Donkey Kong in Smash, and so if he looks like that in the next Smash, it'll be fun.
Nice. Yeah, we can still call it the Super Nintendo Switch no matter what, if you
It's
want,
true.
as
True. No
Arturo
one can
says
tell
in
us
the chat.
otherwise.
And then PJ Julian said 2 is easier to remember, just a number. And then we have the little controller dock thing, however you want to, whatever the hell they call it.
Yeah,
for
just
the
a
new
little
Joy-Cons.
makeshift controller that comes with the system. This feels like everything that's going to be in the box. You know what I mean? They're
Yep.
like telling you all this stuff. So
It looks like it's going to use that same magnetic technology.
cool.
It's a word I don't normally say.
I hope
Um,
they make this controller feel a little sturdier than the one that came with the original Switch.
yeah.
Like just because that one felt like just so flimsy and dinky, and it was kind of whatever. But
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the magnets will help. We'll
that's
have to
true.
wait and see. Yep. And then pretty much the last thing we got here is this bit here. We could just talk about it really fast. You're basically saying Switch 2 plays both physical and digital Switch games, so that's backwards compatibility. Although certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported on or fully compatible with Nintendo Switch 2, details will be shared on the Nintendo website at a later date. I think it's like 90%, 95% going to be
Yeah,
like all playable. It's just like, everyone's saying like Labo or Ring Fit Adventure, maybe something that's dependent on a hardware thing, maybe something that something more experimental, some weird game that like needed the Switch uh BIOS to run properly. I'm sure
yeah,
it's
maybe 1-2 Switch. They also might just be covering their ass in case third-party things don't quite work for some reason because of the
exactly.
operating system or something like that. Um, yeah, it feels like a lawyerish statement, but also to let you know, hey, don't worry, like go buy Donkey Country Returns today because it's also out today, and don't worry, it'll still play on this new system, kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. It will though. It will. And so will Breath of the Wild, and so will Tears of the Kingdom. Like, I'm sure
The thing,
pretty much all the Nintendo stuff will play on there, and I'm sure
first party, I'm sure.
most third party like indies, digital titles, I'm sure everything will play. I'm sure we'll get more things that didn't work on the fucking Switch on the Switch too. So I wouldn't be worried by this at all. Is just what
Me
I'm trying to
neither.
say.
Yeah, and the thing now the big question becomes: is there any sort of native upscaling that happens when you play an old game on a new Switch or whatever? Or we'll see how that kind of works out. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
like, is it able to just run Tears of the Kingdom
Yep.
at a native 4K, or are they going to do the Nintendo thing and release Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and all the DLC as like one big new package? Like
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how they go about it the way that like Xbox did it, where just if you're playing a 360 game on an Xbox, like there's a good chance it's just up-resed
Yeah.
and like higher, better fidelity. And then versus PlayStation, where it would be like, do you want to download the PS4 or the PS5 version? You know what I mean? And the
Yeah.
PS5 version might be $10 more if you already own it or whatever, stuff like that.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, that can get complicated, so we'll have to wait and see. I mean, unless like they just set like unlock FPS modes just for the Switch 2 version, or who knows? Who fucking knows, man?
who knows? I mean, I think Nintendo is going to start to like try and stress the Nintendo Online and the whole ecosystem coming with you, and start
Yeah.
not doing as much like gatekeeping as far as like oh yeah, you have to buy Super Mario 3 for the third time. It's like, nope, just have an NES Online and you'll be fine.
Yep.
You know. So
Yeah, that's what I like. I feel good faith is coming, but I don't know. We never know.
we'll see.
It could just be like still garbage online, horrible voice chat. It could be, you know, like not everything's compatible. You have to buy things gimmicky. I don't know. You never know with Nintendo, but I
um,
I
Super
feel
Mario
good
All
about this.
Stars, where you just can't buy Mario
Yeah,
Galaxy on the Switch anymore. So
yeah,
weird.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. You never know, but the way I see it, I think that it will be good. I think
Mhm.
that playing Switch games on the Switch 2 will be a better experience, and
Totally.
that's why I'm excited for this. And that's kind of my last thought on this.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I might not get, depending on certain things, I might not get this right at launch. Uh, might wait for a little bit of time and see what happens with it. But because the Steam Deck might serve a lot of my purposes for this type of thing for a little while. Um, but we'll see. We'll see what the success of it is. I mean, I think they're smart just doing Switch 2 and not confusing anyone and just being like, come on out, let's do this. Let's do round two. You know.
Yep. Yep. Well, we'll
Hell yeah!
see.
Can't
I'm
wait for
down.
this direct on April 2nd. We'll be there.
If it's $400, I'm buying it if I can. if
I think
scalpers
that's
don't
a
get it
I think it's a
first.
good bet that that's going to be 400.
Yeah, 100%. All
Well,
right.
yeah. That was our thoughts about the Nintendo Switch, the announcement trailer that we saw today. We did a little rewind through it, broke it down for you, gave us our speculation, along with rumors we've heard around the internet and analysts talking there. So we'll see if we're right about any of this stuff. If Nintendo has more weird stuff to share with us on that direct, certainly hoping we see games. But let us know in the comments below, if you're on YouTube, what you thought of our breakdown and what do you think of the Switch reveal in general. If you caught this on twitch.tv/Neon Pocket Dimension, thank you so much for watching live. But if not, you can catch it later on YouTube at youtube.com/@neon gaming dimension. And yeah, we'll have this out for you pretty much right after we stream it here. So take a look, and we'll see you for some more gaming content next week, and weekly here on NPD and NGD and Odd Valley Studios. So come hang out anytime.